Hello everybody, it's the Fantasy Football Almanac here, back at it with another best ball puppy draft video. Today we're hopping into a $5 puppy draft where we have the 12th pick right here. This is nice. We haven't had the 12th pick on a stream or a video yet, so I think getting the 12th pick here is really nice. It'll be very unique and a unique perspective. I honestly think the team combinations we have at 12 are probably the most unique out of any team combination that you could have, for the most part. Because you could really take anybody you want at 12 and 13. And it really does depend on who falls to us. We could get somebody like Najee falling to us. We could get Dalvin Cook, Diggs, Derrick Henry. There's a lot of guys that could fall to us at the 112 and the 201. That would be awesome. Here we do have a very, very standard first 5 picks. The order is a little wacky, but Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson at 2, where the wackiness comes in. Then Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, and Jamar Chase. Stephon Diggs going off the board at 6, which is pretty interesting to see. Diggs, it is a little early for him, and he is kind of a tier break between Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, and Justin Jefferson, but still a very, very talented wide receiver and attached to arguably the best quarterback in the entire league. I would say no. I would personally say no. I think a lot of people would say no, but there are people who would definitely say yes. And it's not hard to see why. He's definitely 100% top 4. It's not close. But the Justin Jefferson pick at 2 is pretty interesting to see. I do like Justin Jefferson a lot, and his talent certainly is there. I mean, 1,600 yards in your second NFL season, most receiving yards through 2 seasons in NFL history, with a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. Not the diss on Kirk Cousins. He's a fine quarterback, but to see that is just absolutely insane. All right, so now we're almost up here. Najee Harris comes off the board. It's been very, very standard so far. I'm hoping, honestly, I really don't know. There's a lot of guys I like here, a lot of guys I like a lot. I would hope, honestly, for this. That would be awesome. It doesn't happen. It's okay. We're gonna take Kelsey. We're gonna take CD here. We're gonna take CD. I think that's fine. I think that's interesting, honestly. CD obviously going to be commanding a very, very high target share in that offense because he simply just has to. There's no way around it. CD Lamb will get like a massive target share. I mean, I could see it possible for him getting 30%. James Washington, Michael Gallup, they're competent wide receivers, but they're no Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup, you can make an argument he was at least, he had a 1,000-yard season. It is possible. And James Washington, the upside is there, but overall, I mean, I can't really see it personally. And my thought process behind Travis Kelce is that now we get a tight end. We don't have to worry about tight end for pretty much the rest of the draft. And the nice thing about that is that there's really no picks where there are good tight ends in the draft. Pitts you might be able to get at 36, but it's unlikely. Dalton Schultz is going behind at a lower ADP, like 67, 66. So you're probably going to end up passing on him for better players at 60 and 61. George Kittle, 50. Darren Waller, 41, so it is possible, but I'm not a Darren Waller guy. Then the next people you can get, just hope for a Dallas Goedert, a Dawson Knox, which doesn't really seem, like too hopeful. So now we get our crazy good tight end early. We don't have to worry about it as much. Here, every single person except for me has taken the same position in the second round as the first round. That's actually wacky. It looks weird. I should hide my name. I should have probably just taken like Evans then. Oh my God, it goes again. We got the Michael Pittman love. So yeah, I'm always telling you guys, the Michael Pittman lovers, we love these guys. These are the best. These are the best people. Billy Badbones, thank you for your $5. Mark Andrews at pick 21. Oh my God, pairing up Mark Andrews and Cooper Kupp, that just doesn't even look real. That just looks too good to be true. I wish I was picking at 4, but anyways, can't be too mad. Leonard Fournette at pick 22. Keeping up the trend, although Mark Andrews did kind of squander it a little bit. This trend is actually going on. If if I traded Cooper Kupp for Travis Kelce, which I don't know if Chavez would do, trend would continue. Now we have Tyreek Hill coming off the board as well. It is pretty interesting draft here so far. J-Pra taking Tyreek and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown falling to the 1-2 turn, which is a little rare. I think it is possible. And you are starting to see it more, but I think Tyreek Hill's pretty much bottomed out with his ADP. I don't really see him going much lower. Then we have Nick Chubb and DJ Moore. DJ Moore coming off the board, also a tiny bit early, but it's fine for us. I think it is smart to reach on a guy like a Tyreek or like a DJ Moore. And here, the main reason why I thought, honestly, the main reason why I thought I wanted to go with a strategy where I took either two wide receivers or a wide receiver and a tight end is because now in this round, look at what we're getting. James Conner, Alvin Kamara, Travis Etienne. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Three guys we could all really, really want. And look at this too. Two running backs, two running backs, two running backs, two running backs, two wide receivers. So we might lose one of them. But all these guys, every one of these guys has two running backs. I imagine most of them probably will not want to take a third running back here. Keenan Allen also would be nice, but I imagine he's off the board as well. It is possible Pitts makes it to us, and at that point, it would look like a little bit of a mistake because Brandon would probably wait me out because he knows I'm not taking Pitts, or he thinks it's probably really highly unlikely. If he's a smart drafter, he knows I'm most likely not taking Pitts. But I'm also not taking Pitts because I don't really like Pitts. Pitts does come off the board anyway, so I'm not faced with that annoying decision. But it is possible that we can end up with one or even two of these running backs here. That would be absolutely phenomenal. James Conner coming off the board. Don't really want Mike Williams here, even though he is a pretty big value ADP wise. If Alvin Kamara or Travis Etienne do come off the board, though, I think I will be pretty much forced to take him. Just because his ADP is so high at this point. And he did have a pretty fantastic season, and he's walking into a fair amount of volume. Okay, so Travis Etienne does come off the board. We're going to take Mike Williams here as our wide receiver 2, and then get Alvin Kamara. That's really nice. I do like that a lot. Alvin Kamara will provide some more stability for our roster, even though he is missing 6 games. Like this lineup's absolutely stacked right here. Now, we kind of have 22 picks until we pick again. I would hope, pray to the Lord that some picks can fall to us. Maybe quarterbacks come off the board a little early and we get a Darnell Mooney. But I do really like this build so far. We could potentially get J.K. Dobbins too. If we could get J.K. Dobbins, it is even possible that at pick 84 and 85 we get somebody like Antonio Gibson, which is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Here we are going to probably see a little bit of a run on wide receivers. Hollywood, Waddle, and McLaurin all do come off the board here, which is pretty interesting. And then Breece Hall at pick 41. A little early for Breece Hall, but I do like the idea of getting Breece Hall early because he is a rookie running back, and we've seen rookie running backs absolutely take off the league before. I mean, just look at Najee Harris last year. And Breece Hall has had fairly similar draft capital. I mean, a little worse. But the Jets traded up to get him. They traded up, I think it was 2 picks, I believe, with the Giants. Michael Carter's an afterthought. He was a 4th-round pick. Here we got Zeke, Darren Waller, and Allen Robinson all coming off the board. Allen Robinson coming off the board a little early. I'm surprised no Gabe Davis yet. People usually love their Gabe Davis. And then Cam Akers at pick 45. I think that is a very interesting pick. I do like the Cam Akers value around there. Cam Akers, I think that's why I think it's good to go running back or wide receiver at the 1-2 turn or the 2-3 turn because you can get these guys sometimes like Cam Akers or David Montgomery. There's a lot of talented running backs on the board that you can get in this range that a lot of people tend to overlook. Deontay Johnson's still on the board, and so is Jerry Jeudy. That's interesting. They probably will be off the board any minute now. If I were Jay Prod, I'd probably be taking them both. Honestly, that would just be absolutely insane. I mean, that's definitely what I would do at least. Let's see what he does. J. Prod making his decision. It is a little tough. We got Deontay Johnson coming off the board here. Oh, it's interesting to see. He's got 4 wide receivers. I think that is pretty smart. If the wide receiver value does fall to you. After this, there is definitely a tier break between Deontay Johnson and Brandon Cooks. I mean, it's not close. Deontay Johnson fell to 7 picks in ADP, something like that. So, and he used to be ADP of like 39, 40. I don't know why he's been. I mean, obviously, it makes sense. He's got a much worse quarterback situation than he did last year. But I really don't even agree with that. I don't agree with that logic because Ben Roethlisberger was a shell, an absolute shell of his former self. I mean, I don't see how anybody could look me in the eye and say that Ben Roethlisberger was a good quarterback. I mean, he just wasn't. I had Deontay Johnson last year in fantasy, and he would go up and get these crazy Ben Roethlisberger hospital balls daily. I mean, guy got force fed targets, but you think if he's that talented, any quarterback is going to force feed this guy targets. He's about to get a huge contract next year. I think Deontay Johnson is in line for a pretty massive target share. And him falling all the way to pick 49, I would eat that 10 out of 10 times. 10 out of 10 times. Here we are hoping. I mean, there's a lot of guys we do like. Because this range is pretty flexible. But I would realistically like 2 of these 3. I mean, that would just be awesome. If not, then I would imagine taking a QB or Chris Godwin or Josh Jacobs. Montgomery off the board. I really hope we can get one of these 2. Just one. 2 would be the best case scenario, obviously, but I just don't think it's plausible. Unless Waylander. Okay, wow. Okay, we got one. We got one down. We just need R Sods 22 to make a bad pick. Come on, Kyler Murray. He wants Kyler. He wants Kyler bad. You can just tell. He's been fiending for Kyler. He's been fiending for Kyler all his life. He goes Darnell Mooney. We are sad. Oh, Chris Godwin. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna take J.K. Dobbins here. I'm torn between waiting on running back here and going with Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts. We're gonna go Jalen Hurts here. We're gonna wait a little bit more on running back. I was kind of considering taking Josh Jacobs here, but at the same time, I think it does make sense to wait a little bit. And the reason why I think it makes sense to wait is because we already have Travis Kelce here. We can grab Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the next round. Quarterbacks are now flying off the board too, which is interesting. I think that is accelerated by this guy grabbing 2, Chavez, which could make it accelerate a little bit more. So we get a little bit more people to reach since Waylander reached on Russ. Maybe have a couple people scared. I mean, that wasn't really my thought process with Jalen Hurts. It was more so that we can get running backs later, that we can't really get the same QB caliber talent later. But it is nice to see that Russell Wilson does come off the board here, letting one more pick of value fall down to us. And there is a lot of decent running back talent. I think it is entirely possible that we can get Antonio Gibson here in, I hate to say it, in the 7th round, an 8th round, the end of the 7th, beginning of the 8th. I think it is possible. People have been fading him into absolute oblivion. I think it's time to really put a break on that. I don't understand. I really don't. I think over most of these wide receivers, he should be. I don't see why people are taking Devonta Smith over him. Anyways, we have had a pretty interesting Adam Thielen coming off the board at 65, Dalton Schultz at 66, which is now his new ADP, and I'm not 100% sure I like it. Elijah Moore, we got 2 Elijahs, 2 Elijah M's coming off the board in a row, back to back, Elijah Moore and Elijah Mitchell. Then Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper falling all the way to pick 69. I mean, wow. All the way to pick 69. That's just crazy to me. I can't believe. I mean, I can believe it. Amari Cooper probably for the first 8 games of the season will not have a good QB. Probably not. Potentially even for the entire season. But that really does seem like it seems like Amari Cooper's floor in ADP is probably about here. Maybe he could fall a little further behind Russell Gage, DeAndre Hopkins. But I can't see him falling behind DeAndre Hopkins here, personally. Gibson coming off the board at pick 73 at his ADP. And then we have A.J. Dillon. It is a little unfortunate, But I did think we had a chance at Antonio Gibson, and it still is possible we can get a guy like Miles Sanders here. Um, we do kind of need to take a little bit more action at running back and wide receiver as well. We do need we do need both positions, but now we have the most well-rounded team. We could wait a really long time and get somebody like Deshaun Watson late. Um, I'd kind of just really pick off running backs and wide receivers here because now we can afford to wait forever for a good tight end, and now we can afford to wait forever for a great quarterback again. So we're in like a really really good position to get great players at running back and wide receiver, and not have to worry as much about anything else. I'm thinking here probably gonna try and get either one of these two potentially. I don't think either one of them will fall, but if they do, that would be great. If not, it is possible we just take a second grade QB. Never mind. Let's go. Now we have even more QBs coming off the board here, which is exactly what we like to see. And TJ Hawkinson, that's exactly what we want to see. Oh my God, let's go. If we could get Dak off the board here in one of these next two picks, my mind would be blown. I would be so happy. Um, there really isn't any wide receivers or tight ends that I like. Miles Sanders coming off the board does make sense. This guy's four wide receivers. It is possible he doesn't go Lazard, and he doesn't. So we're going to take Alan Lazard here. I think Alan Lazard's in a really interesting situation. And I did get him at a value as well. And now I'm a little torn. I do like Ayuk. I do. But I'm not 100% sold that I should take him here. I mean, let me think. Who am I getting at like 100 something? There are kind of better running backs. I think I should go running back here, and I think the running back I'm going to go is Clyde. Although it might make a little bit more sense to go with Damian Harris, I think Clyde's value has fallen a lot. And for the ceiling that Clyde possesses as a pass catching running back, I do think Clyde is definitely a value here. Whereas Damian Harris had probably the best season he could. I think his touches probably, his attempts might go up, but there's no way his touchdowns remain the same. I mean, 15 touchdowns, that's just absolutely crazy. He doesn't really get it in the receiving game either. I do love Damian Harris, and I loved his value when he was going at pick like 98. But now at pick 90, it is a little bit harder to justify when Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going right there. And now we do have three running backs who we can feel somewhat confident in, three wide receivers. And now we can hope in the next round we can take another running back or two to solidify our room one last time. And then just hammer these wide receivers. Maybe get an Aaron Rodgers in the next round, although probably not. Although we probably are just going to end up taking Deshaun Watson in the last round, kind of mimicking Socrates' strategy. I really liked it. Now we have Christian Kirk and Valdez-Scantling coming off the board. This is a pretty interesting draft so far. I think the quarterback values have been pushed up a lot, so it's really good that we were able to start that run. It was actually awesome we were able to start that run. And then tight end values have been getting pushed up a little bit as well. Oh, man. Seeing George Kittle, it's about his ADP. But Dalton Schultz at his ADP and TJ Hawkinson ahead of ADP. That's awesome. Brandon Ayuk falling pretty far in this draft. But there is a pretty heavy wide receiver run going. Starting with Alan Lazard. Pretty proud to say I started that run. And then going all the way to Ayuk. Now we have Dawson Knox off the board too, which is pretty interesting. These tight ends are coming off the board pretty early, which is exactly what we want to see taking Travis Kelce in the first round. Because it means we want these guys taking as many tight ends as possible, get more and more and more value falling to us as much as we possibly can. Damian Harris coming off the board here, pick 94, a little bit behind ADP. Now we got Dallas Goedert. Matt Stafford still on the board. So is Aaron Rodgers. Matt Stafford is no longer on the board. That timing is perfect. We still have Kareem Hunt on the board. We got Sky Moore. Tyler Lockett, who I just don't want to touch at all in any league. Zach Ertz, let's go. That's actually awesome. We keep getting these tight ends. The next tight end ADP is 123. 123. But people love reaching on Irv Smith, so it is possible Irv Smith goes off the board before that. One thing we are a little bit concerned about is seeing all these running backs coming off the board now, but it does make sense that they're regrouping a little bit. If we get if there's both of these guys available on the board, I could honestly see myself taking both of them. I don't know if they will be. I honestly probably think they won't be, but it is possible. Somebody takes Aaron Rodgers. It is entirely possible. I just hope Chase Edmonds is on this board. I mean, that would just be stellar for us because we would love another good running back. I imagine Ronald Jones is probably not in our range of outcomes at this point. It is possible, but I'd either have to reach or get really lucky, and I don't want to reach and look. Although it has been on my side, I mean, this draft is stellar. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, that's interesting. I was sort of hoping he fell, but I am glad that he's off the board now. Now I can just hope to get one of our two guys. Whether that be Sky Moore or Chase Edmonds, I'm fine with it. I could even see myself pulling trig on James Cook here. I do think the reason why I am kind of going running back heavy here is because we have Alvin Kamara, who won't be back for a while. Obviously, he's probably going to miss 6 games. If he misses no time, great. That would be awesome. Oh my god. Okay, so we'll take Chase Edmonds here first. I'm going to wait a little bit to take him because I do want to know who I'm taking second. Maybe James Cook here. I think James Cook is probably the best move. Or Christian Watson. Alright, so first we'll take Chase Edmonds. I do think we're in a pretty interesting situation. I could see the value on Claypool as well. I definitely could. I mean, 2 touchdowns. He's obviously a candidate to improve. I'm torn, honestly. I think we might go James Cook here just because I don't know what the running back scene is going to look like. I think James Cook probably is the best pick because we really don't. We don't know what the running back scene is going to look like. Back at our next pick. Actually, yeah, we really don't know. I mean, we could end up with Tyrion Davis-Price really late or Tyler Algier potentially, but we really don't know. I don't want to take that risk and wait too much. Especially Chase Claypool's not a guy who's going to win your league, most likely. I mean, it is possible. I did really like Chase Claypool coming out of college. He's got hands of a god, and he's a very talented wide receiver. But now, that offense is a tad bit crowded. I mean, Deontay Johnson's an absolute target hog, and they did just draft George Pickens, and Pat Fryermuth's in there as well. So I think with all those things, Chase Claypool could get a little lost in the fray. But I do like the pick. I maybe should have taken Chase Claypool there, honestly. In hindsight, I think it was probably the right move to take Chase Claypool over James Cook. I might be kicking myself a little bit for that one, trying to justify it. But either way, James Cook could turn out to be a very, very good pass-catching running back in the NFL. So, and the Bills did take him high. I mean, second round tender. Obviously, they did like Devin Singletary, but it is possible. I mean, if James Cook comes in and gets all the pass-catching work, and they send him out on some routes, oh my god, that would be absolutely fabulous. I mean, you see how his brother's doing, Dalvin. His brother ain't doing too bad. I know we got Kenny Galladay, Christian Watson, Michael Carter, Tyler Boyd, Ramondre Stevenson, Melvin Gordon, Tim Patrick, all coming off the board here. Now we're getting a nice hearty mix of wide receivers and running backs. I would like to see a little bit more of these tight ends coming off the board. Although if Irv Smith does fall to us, I probably would take him. I don't see it happening though. And I don't really like any of these QBs on the board right now. Maybe I could justify taking a Fryermuth too. I did just say their offense was crowded, but when you're picking guys between like James Cook versus Dameon Pierce, and position-wise, tight end versus wide receiver, I think it is a little more interesting. Plus, expects 800 or 900 yards this year. That's interesting. Well, he expects it. I mean, of course you're gonna say that, but we still probably will end up taking him if he does fall. Imagining some more of these running backs will come off the board too. If Ronald Jones does somehow come to us, which he doesn't, Chavez has done that to me twice now. Chavez, come on, man. But if Irv Smith or Pat Fryermuth fall to us, we're gladly taking them. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'll also spark a little bit of a secondary tight end run. I mean, these two guys both don't have tight ends, so they might be looking at it. Brandon Schenkel might be looking at this like, oh, the fantasy almanac. There's no way he takes a second tight end. There's no way. But he may. He very well may right here. We got Madison coming off the board. Imagining Rashad White and Dameon Pierce will both be off the board, and Justin Fields. Irv Smith coming off here. To be expected, to be very much expected. Cole Kmet even would be a nice target, or Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki has been getting pushed down this tight end list, but he did have 800 yards almost last year, 700 yards the year before that. 2 touchdowns, it's a number you hopefully would expect to go up. He is in an offense that doesn't score that many touchdowns, but Tua will have to be pushing the ball downfield more if he has a guy like Tyreek Hill in his offense. We're not taking Fields here. We're probably going to end up taking... We're going to end up taking, I think, Jacoby Myers. I was really hoping for JMO. Too. Come on. I was hoping to double up at wide receiver and take Jacoby Myers and JMO. Honestly, we're going to go Jacoby Myers here. And now we're going to go Jamison Crowder, Jahan Dotson. I'm a little torn here. Not expected to receive extension. Maybe that's why he's fallen a little bit. Maybe we do take Cole Kmet here. You know what? I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to bolster our tight end room. We're going to get a second tight end. And we're not going to have to worry about that anymore. Now, all we really have to worry about is getting maybe one more running back. Really secure the room. Not have to worry anymore. And then like 3 or 4 more wide receivers. And then our boy, Deshaun Watson. I'll probably take him at 180 or 181 just to ensure that I get him. And I might pair him up, since I am potentially doing this. What the hell? This guy's 6 running backs? Oh my god, this guy took 3 QBs. His only wide receiver, I guess from the guy he decided from Jarvis Landry, is Adam Thielen. Their combined age is like 65. Oh my god. His running backs are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they're nothing to scoff at. But here, I don't see how you could justify taking Melvin Gordon over Christian Watson when you have Saquon, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, and David Montgomery. See, that's a smart draft strategy if you stop there. Maybe he could have taken somebody else like I don't like Sutton, but like Marquise Brown or someone like that too. I mean, the Pitts pick is interesting now. He doesn't have to worry about it as much. I'm glad we got Cole Kmet too. Sure up our tight end room. We never have to worry about tight end again for the rest of the draft. Breathe a sigh of relief knowing that. We got Jahan Dotson coming off the board. We got Alex O, Justin Fields, and Trevor Lawrence, which we do like to see. We want to get these. We want to get these quarterbacks off this board. I don't want to see any quarterbacks. The more quarterbacks that are off the board, the better for us, because it allows us to wait, and get our guy Deshaun Watson late. And then we have 2 great quarterbacks, one at a supreme discount. Absolutely supreme discount. Here, since we do have Mike Williams too, it would be nice to get Joshua Palmer. Have a nice little stack. In case one of the 2 goes down, you have the other one who can absolutely feast. Van Jefferson coming off the board here. Would have been nice to have him. Another 2 picks. The reason why I was a little hesitant to take running backs here is because I can get either Tyler Algier or Tyrion Davis-Price. And I imagine one of them should be on the board. If both of them are on the board, then I made a mistake taking James Cook. But if neither of them are on the board, or if only one of them is on the board, then I think I made the right call taking James Cook. And that way I just don't have to take another running back again for the rest of the draft. Which is really nice, honestly. Not having to take another running back again for the rest of the draft, and having a workhorse, a potential workhorse, or 2 potential workhorses, and James Cook, a potential pass-catching phenom, like an Alvin Kamara type mold. Oh my god. I mean, that would just be awesome. Maybe here I can consider taking Robbie. Good old Robbie Anderson, too. I mean, look at that. Look at that target volume in 2020. His targets were pretty good as well in 2021, but just get the receptions, whether that be from Sam Darnold or Robbie Anderson as a player. I'm not really too sure, but I think it would be interesting taking Robbie Anderson here, especially getting Baker Mayfield now. I mean, Baker Mayfield obviously just has to be a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. He just has to be. Sam Darnold looked horrific last year. I mean, it was so embarrassingly bad. How terrible Sam Darnold looked. I don't trust the Panthers at all, really. Maybe I'd prefer somebody like Terrace Marshall just because he goes later. He's off the board later. But either way, Trent Boyd, I would be absolutely shocked if this guy picks another running back here. I think he should be okay. The rest of the draft. Maybe he's on auto draft, honestly. Maybe that's yeah, it's just an oversight on my part. He probably is. No, he goes Robbie Anderson here. I would like to see these QBs coming off the board here. Waylander, he's got one QB. He could use a second. I think that's fairly obvious. I think it would be nice if we could get one or two more QBs off the board. Kenneth Gainwell does come off instead. And now we're in a position where we're probably looking pretty good. I think Tyler Algier or Tyrion Davis-Price probably will be off the board. One of them to Brendan Shankle or Shankle. Brendan Shankle 1. Ryan Tannehill coming off the board here. Gets his quarterback 3, and it's Ryan Tannehill. Reaching over Jameis, Matt Ryan, and Daniel Jones. I imagine Brendan Shankle will take one of Tyler Algier or Tyrion Davis-Price. If not, he goes Tyler Algier. We're going to go Tyrion Davis-Price here with our first pick, with our second pick. I don't really want any of these QBs. I mean, I do like Daniel Jones, but I have no pairings. We might go... I don't really like any of the values here. Oh, wow. I have 7 seconds left. I'm going to go Alec Pierce. Screw it. Why not? Bolster our wide receiver core a little bit. We definitely need to do that. I imagine these quarterbacks probably will be off the board by the time we get back up. And then we take somebody like Deshaun Watson. At an ADP of 191. We snipe him a little bit early. There would be about 10 picks early, but then we guarantee we get him. I'm not trying to wait till pick 204, 205, or 208, 209, I think it is. Oh, no, it's 204, 205. 204, 205 to end up getting Deshaun Watson, because at that point, it's such a huge risk for the strategy that I'm pulling off that I do need to reach on him a little bit. But reaching on a guy with top 5 quarterback ceiling, or honestly top 1 quarterback ceiling, in terms of points per game in the second last round, I'm good with that. I do think the NFL, at the end of the day, what Deshaun Watson did was wrong. I mean, definitely, there's no doubt about it. But at the same time, the NFL wants views, and Deshaun Watson will provide those views, especially to an embattled franchise like Cleveland. The NFL, at the end of the day, they're in it to make money, and Deshaun Watson will make the money. I hate to say it, I do, but and at the same time, the Cleveland Browns signed him to the most guaranteed money of all time. If the Cleveland Browns, who definitely know more than we do, thought that Deshaun Watson was going to be suspended for a full year, I imagine they probably would not have paid that full amount of money and given up, 3 first-round picks to get a guy who won't play for an entire year. So I imagine he probably will be suspended 8 games. If that is the case, then oh my god, it would be such a massive value. I'm going to be taking him, I think, in like every draft from now on. Honestly, I'm going to be taking him in almost every draft. Because if he does pan out, oh my god, that's just the definition of a boom waiting to happen. You could also grab KJ Hamler. I just pretty much want wide receivers at this point. There's no other people that I want. We had George Pickens, Paris Campbell, Wandale. Wandale's been falling down draft boards a pretty substantial amount. Devin Duvernay, David Bell, Terrace Marshall. There's a lot of guys on here that we like. James Washington. It's just, I'm a little scared with OBJ, personally. I mean, obviously, we all saw what happened in the Super Bowl. He went down. It was sad. I was an OBJ owner last year. First half of the year was terrible. Second half of the year, I was ecstatic. I think OBJ was somebody who was being slept on talent-wise, and that's why I took him. But Baker had absolutely horrific year. I mean, he looked so bad. Granted, he was battling through injuries, But you could say it about pretty much any player in the NFL. I don't know any player. I can't name any player really besides I guess my boy Eli Manning. I can't name any position player that can play all 16 games every season, or very, very few. It's rare and it takes a ton of luck. So it doesn't happen too frequently. KJ Hamler coming off the board here. We could still get Paris Campbell. We're 9 picks away. It is possible. This guy, Trent Boyd, 3 wide receivers and 6 running backs. It just doesn't even look right. Thank you for your $5, Trent Boyd. Thank you. Appreciate it. $5 for free. We've got, what, 4 picks left now? 4 picks left. George Pickens, Paris Campbell, these wide receivers coming off the board. All the guys that we wanted except for Marvin Jones. These 3 guys were guys we all loved. Loved here. And we don't get them. Instead, we're probably going to have to end up settling and reaching, potentially. Because a lot of these wide receivers are getting pushed up. Maybe a Will Fuller would be interesting. Depending on if he gets signed somewhere. Which he probably will. Will Fuller, Julio Jones, both those guys would be pretty interesting signs. So I guess we'll see. Jameis Winston coming off the board here as well. I'm going to star up my boy, Deshaun Watson. We'll get him here at pick 180 because I'm not willing to wait till 204. And it'll be a 10-pick reach, but that's okay. Jamal Williams coming off the board here. Trent Boyd is up again. I assume he's got to go wide receiver. He goes Kendrick Bourne as his wide receiver 4. Oh my god, that's brutal to see. I am sorry, buddy. I'm real sorry. Jared Goff. Sammy Watkins. And now, who do we have? Austin Hooper. We're going to take Deshaun Watson here. And we're going to take Will Fuller. This player was already selected. I know, I selected him. Now I got J.D. McKissick coming off the board. Complete backup. Nothing more than a backup coming off the board. Nothing more than most backups coming off the board. That's why I feel like running backs in this range is a little annoying taking solely handcuff backs. Mark Ingram is an exception to that. But I do really, really like the way this team is built. We have 2 quarterbacks who should be really, really interesting. I mean, Jalen Hurts will carry me the first half of the season. And then Deshaun Watson will help me out with second half tutelage. Maybe Mac Jones. Wow. I mean, I'm not taking him for shit, but it is interesting to see him fall that far. I love our running back room, even though Alvin Kamara is suspended. I mean, we just have I look at it as like 2 investments right here. We have 2 investments where if we do end up making the fantasy football playoffs, these 2 investments will pay off tremendously, or should pay off tremendously. I don't see any way, if I make the playoffs, that like I wouldn't do well with Deshaun Watson and Alvin Kamara. 2 guys that you get at a value because they've been counted out, because they might be suspended. It's the same thing with DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, just taking these guys that could be suspended or are suspended, and then when they come back, they go back up to their old ADPs, or go back up to how they always played. And what matters, like I always say, is the last weeks. The last weeks are what matter. If you can get value in the last weeks, that's what matters. All right, so we are 12 picks away now. Just wanted to take a couple seconds to say I would really, really, really appreciate it if you guys could go down, leave a like on this video, leave a comment letting me know how I did. Let me know if my draft was shit, great, whatever. I don't care. Please let me know. Leave a comment. Anything. If you'd like to see some different content, please let me know. And if you could, it would really, really mean the world to me if you could subscribe. That would make my day, my week. Every subscriber I see puts a smile on my face. It is awesome. I want to grow this community as much as I possibly can to help you guys win your fantasy football leagues. That's my goal. Win as many fantasy football leagues as you can. Make some good money. Gloat to your friends. It truly is my favorite hobby. And that's what it is. That's why I want to turn it into more than a hobby, honestly. See, right here, I'm projected 2,300 points. Who cares? Who cares when I'm projecting? That means nothing. 6 picks away. We got Devin Duvernay, Julio Jones, CJ Uzama coming off the board. Devin Duvernay would have been nice, but alas, does not happen. We got Matthew Joza up on the board here. We're probably going to make our picks 204, 205. And then end the video, I think. Taking Wandell and David Bell. We'll take the Dale Bale, a little rhyme scheme. Why'd you take David Bell? Come on, man. You don't even have you don't even need the stack. You got no stack. You got Carson Wentz as your quarterback. Come on, take a QB. This guy's Carson Wentz's only QB. He's living life on the absolute edge. Probably going to take Baker Mayfield as well. Baker Mayfield's off the board too. I didn't even notice. Baker Mayfield came off the board at pick 188. Meaning this guy probably is going to have to take Marcus Mariota or someone like that. Benjamin, Logan Thomas. It is interesting to see these people wait on QB so long. I can't personally get behind it, but we are going to take Wan'Dale Robinson and probably James Washington. And that's it for the video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you made it this far, please leave a like on this video. Every like honestly means so much to me. I would totally appreciate it. Subscribe, everything like that. Leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day.